about everything I do. I'm like, damn, who made y'all perfect? Who said y'all's fathers don't?
When 1000 Delby Sisters premiered on TLC in 2020, viewers were introduced to Tammy and Amy Slaton, two sisters from rural Kentucky whose combined weight neared a staggering 1,000 pounds. Their quirky humor, southern charm, and fiery sibling clashes quickly captivated audiences. But beneath the laughs was a sobering reality. Both sisters were fighting for their lives against obesity, addiction, and emotional pain that stretched back to childhood. While Amy's journey has often centered on her pursuit of motherhood and balancing weight loss with raising two children, Tammy's arc has been one of the most dramatic transformations in modern reality TV history. From being bedridden and dependent on oxygen tanks to fitting into an XL shirt and enjoying boat rides with friends. Her story has stunned fans, critics, and doctors alike. This is the complete story of Tammy Slaton's fight for survival, her emotional milestones, and how she broke free from years of confinement to embrace a new life. Housebound years and emotional isolation for much of her adult life, Tammy Slaton was housebound. Her weight eventually climbed to more than 725 pounds, making simple movements nearly impossible. Everyday tasks, walking to the bathroom, cooking a meal, sitting in a car, required assistance. Her reliance on oxygen tanks highlighted how dangerously close she was to losing her life. When fans first met her on TLC, Tammy was portrayed as combative, stubborn, and unwilling to change, while her sister Amy pursued bariatric surgery and began shedding weight. Tammy often lashed out at family members, dismissed medical advice, and resisted intervention. Her inability to break free from emotional eating, combined with depression and addiction to food, alcohol, and even vaping, made her storyline both heartbreaking and frustrating to watch. Many viewers criticized her, calling her selfish or lazy, but others saw through the defensive walls. Tammy was clearly in pain, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Beneath the anger was a woman terrified of dying, yet too overwhelmed to change. The near-death experience that changed everything in late 2021, Tammy's body finally reached its breaking point. She was rushed to the hospital with carbon dioxide poisoning, a life-threatening condition caused by her weight crushing her lungs. She stopped breathing and was placed in a medically induced coma. For days, her family feared the worst. Her sister Amy tearfully admitted, "We said goodbye. We didn't think she was going to make it." Miraculously, Tammy survived. But doctors delivered a chilling warning. If she didn't take immediate and drastic action to lose weight, she wouldn't live another year. For the first time, Tammy faced her mortality head-on. And instead of giving up, she made a decision that would alter the course of her life. She checked herself into a long-term rehabilitation facility. The grueling road to recovery rehab was no vacation. For Tammy, it was a crash course in starting life over. Gone were that junk foods, sodas, and late-night binges. Instead, she was placed on a strict calorie-controlled diet. She had to relearn how to eat, how to move her body, and even how to walk short distances. Therapists helped her unpack the emotional trauma fueling her food addiction, while physical trainers pushed her to attempt exercises she had once thought impossible. At first, progress was painfully slow. But then, something clicked. Weight began melting off. First a few pounds, then dozens, then hundreds. Over the course of her stay, Tammy shed more than 300 pounds. For the first time in her adult life, she weighed under 400 pounds. It wasn't easy. She cried, argued, and doubted herself many times. But with every setback, she came back stronger. Bariatric surgery and the turning point by mid-2023. Tammy had lost enough weight to qualify for bariatric surgery, something she had failed to achieve in earlier seasons. The procedure, which reduces the size of the stomach, was high risk due to her medical history, but Tammy knew it was her best shot. The surgery was a success. Though the recovery was brutal with nausea, dietary restrictions, and vitamin deficiencies, Tammy pushed forward. Within a year, she had lost more than 500 pounds in total. For the first time since childhood, she was under 230 pounds. She no longer needed oxygen. She could walk without assistance. She could fit into regular seats at restaurants, shop for her own clothes, Kate, and most importantly, live without constant fear of dying. Breaking free. First steps into a new life with her new body came new experiences. Tammy began venturing outside, something she hadn't done in years. She shocked fans when she posted a TikTok of herself taking a boat ride with friends, smiling from ear to ear. For a woman who had once been confined to her home for over 6 years, this was more than just a boat trip. It was freedom. She also revealed she was learning how to drive, something she had always dreamed of but couldn't do because of her size. Her dream car. A vintage Ford Mustang GT. Tammy admitted she once hated herself for being unable to do basic things like driving. But now she was determined to make it happen. Fans couldn't hold back their emotions. Comments poured in praising her courage. "I'm crying seeing her live life again." Tammy is proof that it's never too late to change. She looks so happy, and that's all we ever wanted for her. Skin removal surgery and the big reveal, extreme weight loss, often leaves behind another struggle. Excess skin? Tammy's arms, stomach, and legs carried folds of loose skin that caused pain, infections, and emotional distress. In January 2025, she underwent a complex skin removal surgery lasting over 7 hours. Doctors removed more than 15 pounds of skin, reshaping her body in ways she never thought possible. Recovery was grueling. Tammy endured drainage tubes, compression garments, and weeks of immobility. Yet she stayed committed, documenting the process online to inspire fans. And then came the reveal. In a powerful scene, Tammy stood in front of a mirror, holding up one of her old size 6X shirts, a shirt that once barely fit her. With a laugh, she said, "This used to be tight on me." She then held up her new shirt, a fitted XL top. When she slipped it on, it fit perfectly. The internet exploded. Fans cried, clapped, and flooded TikTok and Reddit with support. One fan wrote, "This isn't just about a shirt size. It's about every day she chose to fight for her life." From critics to champions for years, Tammy had been criticized as the villain of 1000 Sisters. Viewers grew frustrated with her refusal to change, her combative nature, and her self-destructive choices. But now, those same critics are cheering her on. Her transformation has become bigger than reality TV. It's a story of redemption, resilience, and raw humanity. Tammy didn't just lose weight. She regained her freedom, her dignity, and her will to live. Of course, skepticism still lingers. Some trolls accuse her of exaggerating her progress or using camera tricks. But Tammy silenced them in the best way possible, by walking into a clothing store, picking out XL tops and trying them on camera, proudly showing the tags for proof. What's next for Tammy? Now in her late 30s, Tammy Slaton has more energy, confidence, and determination than ever before. She's expressed her desire to travel, continue outdoor adventures, and even try activities like ziplining and swimming. Her family remains by her side, with Amy and Chris celebrating her milestones every step of the way. For Tammy, the journey isn't just about weight loss anymore. It's about living life fully, laughing, exploring, and embracing experiences she once thought were impossible. And for fans, her story serves as a reminder. No matter how dark the road may get, change is possible. Final thoughts: Tammy Slaton's journey is one of the most remarkable arcs reality TV has ever captured. From being housebound, bedridden, and near death, she has fought her way to freedom, health, and joy. When she walked outside for the first time in years, when she fit into that XL shirt, when she smiled on that boat, those weren't just milestones for Tammy. They were symbols of resilience, hope, and the human spirit's ability to overcome even the heaviest burdens. The world has watched her stumble, fail, and fight. Now the world is watching her soar. Now the world is watching her soar.
I do have really smart boys. It's like Gage can do 3rd grade math. And one time he had a French babysitter and he was talking to...
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another emotional and powerful update from the world of the 1000 Sisters. This is Jennifer from 90 Day Insider, bringing you the latest stories, the deepest transformations, and the most shocking behind-the-scenes revelations from the Slaton family that you won't want to miss. Grab a seat because today's story is one of triumph, heartbreak, redemption, and new beginnings. For years, fans of TLC's One Na Na No sisters have followed the emotional roller coaster of Tammy Slaton's life. She was once the sister many believed would never make it out of her house again. A woman trapped by her own weight, health struggles, and emotional demons. But now Tammy has reached a milestone so powerful, so life-changing that fans all over the world are crying tears of joy right along with her. Tammy Slaton has done the unimaginable. She's broken free from the house that once held her captive. After years of being housebound, unable to step outside without assistance, Tammy recently took her very first independent step into the world. And let me tell you, the reaction has been overwhelming. Fans have been left in tears, many of them saying they never thought they would live to see this moment. The same Tammy who once weighed over 725 pounds, who once relied on oxygen tanks and was confined to a wheelchair, is now walking outside smiling and starting a brand new chapter of her life. It's hard to believe that this is the same Tammy we met when 1002 LB Sisters premiered back in 2020. Back then, she was bitter, angry, and resistant to change. While her sister Amy made progress quickly, undergoing bariatric surgery and starting her family, Tammy seemed stuck. She fought against the advice of doctors, clashed with her family, and often gave up before she even started. Fans were worried, family members were frustrated, and even Tammy herself admitted that she felt like giving up. At times, she blamed others for her condition, lashing out instead of looking inward. And the numbers on the scale just kept climbing. But everything changed in late 2021. Tammy's body, after years of abuse and neglect, finally began to shut down. She was rushed to the hospital, where she suffered carbon dioxide poisoning, a deadly condition caused by her lungs struggling under the weight of her body. She stopped breathing and slipped into a medically induced coma. For days, her family feared the worst. Amy broke down in tears, saying goodbye, believing her sister wasn't going to make it. But then something happened against all odds. Tammy woke up, and when she did, doctors gave her the bluntest warning of her life. Lose a massive amount of weight immediately, or you won't live another year. That was the moment everything shifted. For the first time, Tammy faced her own mortality head-on. She knew she had to fight. And so began a grueling, years-long journey of transformation. Tammy checked herself into a long-term rehab facility, a move that surprised fans who never believed she would commit. But this time was different. There were no excuses, no more enabling, no more giving up. Tammy stuck to the strict diet plans, worked with physical therapists, and faced her emotional issues with counselors. Slowly but surely, the pounds began to melt away. At first, the progress was small 10 pounds here, 20 pounds there. But then something clicked. Tammy began to lose weight at a pace no one thought possible. By the end of her first year in treatment, she had lost over 300 pounds. The Tammy who had once been bedridden was now standing, walking, and even participating in group activities. And when she finally qualified for bariatric surgery, it was a turning point that changed her life forever. The surgery wasn't easy, and the recovery was brutal. But Tammy stuck with it. Over the next year, she shed even more weight, eventually losing more than 500 pounds in total. By the end of 2024, she was under 230 pounds for the first time in her adult life. Fans could hardly believe it. The woman who once needed oxygen to breathe was now able to walk, shop, cook, and even travel on her own. But with massive weight loss came another challenge: excess skin. Tammy was left with folds of skin on her arms, neck, stomach, and legs. It was painful, it caused infections, and it made movement difficult. But Tammy wasn't going to let that stop her. In January 2025, she underwent a major skin removal surgery that lasted more than 7 hours. Doctors removed over 15 pounds of excess skin. The recovery was excruciating, but Tammy stayed strong. She documented the process for her fans, showing the raw, unfiltered reality of healing, drains, bandages, and tears. But when the day finally came for her to look in the mirror, she broke down in happy tears. That moment was captured in a viral clip. Tammy standing in front of her mirror, holding one of her old size 6X shirts. The shirt that had once been tight on her now looked like a massive blanket. She laughed, then pulled out a new shirt size XL. She slipped it on, and it fit perfectly. The internet exploded. TikTok lit up with clips, YouTubers reacted with disbelief, and Reddit threads were filled with fans cheering her on. One fan commented, "This isn't just a shirt. This is proof that every single day she chose to fight for her life." Now, Tammy is not just surviving, she's thriving. She's journaling. She's working on a memoir. She's dating again, something she never thought possible when she was trapped in her old life. Her relationship with Amy has improved too. The sisters, once torn apart by resentment and arguments, have rebuilt their bond. Amy has admitted that Tammy has become an inspiration, not just to fans, but to her own family as well. And Tammy's dreams don't stop there. She recently revealed that she's learning how to drive, something she's wanted to do for years but couldn't because of her size and anxiety. She even confessed her dream car, a vintage Ford Mustang GT. The thought of Tammy, once confined to a hospital bed, now driving around in her dream car is almost too surreal to believe. She's also exploring new adventures. Tammy recently went on a boat ride with her friends, sharing the joyous moment with fans on TikTok. She laughed, posed for photos, and soaked in the freedom she had worked so hard for. Fans cried watching her finally enjoy life outside the four walls of her home. Tammy has made it clear she's not going back to her old life. She's unstoppable now. But while Tammy's journey has captivated the world, her sister Amy's story has been just as emotional and complex. Tammy Slaton, who once was celebrated for being the first to undergo weight loss surgery, has had her own ups and downs. She lost nearly 200 pounds and gave birth to two beautiful children. Glenn engaged with her former husband, Michael Halterman. For a while, Amy seemed to have everything she wanted: a family, her health, and a brighter future. But things took a dark turn. In 2023, Amy and Michael's marriage came to an end. Amy moved on and started dating a new man, Brian Levern. But their relationship wasn't without drama. The couple was caught carrying illegal drugs in Tennessee, landing Amy in jail. Though she was eventually released, the scandal shook fans who had once defended her fiercely. Despite this setback, Amy and Brian stayed together. And by 2024, Amy had moved in with him and even accepted his romantic Halloween proposal. The two planned to marry, though fans remain divided about Brian's influence on her life. Through it all, Amy has continued to be a devoted mother. She shares custody of Glenn, engaged with Michael, splitting the week between their households. Fans have praised Amy for being attentive and loving, often dressing her sons in matching outfits so she can keep track of them in public and avoid fights over clothes at home. Recently, Amy celebrated Glenn's third birthday. Posting emotional tributes and photos that showed her deep pride in her little boy. Fans couldn't help but notice how Glenn resembles Amy, while Gage looks strikingly like their Aunt Amanda. Amy herself has admitted that dressing her boys alike makes it easier for her to manage them, while also being a safety precaution in case anything ever happens in public. It's a reminder that despite the scandals, Amy's love for her children remains at the center of her life. Today, both sisters stand at a crossroads. Tammy, once mocked and dismissed, is now celebrated as an icon of resilience. She's shown the world that no matter how far gone things seem, it's never too late to fight back and rewrite your story. From 725 pounds to a size XL, from hospital beds to boat rides. From despair to hope, Tammy Slaton has transformed into living proof that change is possible. And Amy, despite her controversies, is carving her own path. She's learning from her mistakes, raising her boys, and trying to build a future with Brian. Their stories, filled with ups and downs, heartbreak and triumph, continue to captivate fans around the world. So as Tammy and Amy move forward into this new chapter of their lives, one thing is clear: their journeys are far from over. The world will be watching, cheering, and sometimes criticizing, but always captivated. Because at the end of the day, the Slaton sisters have given us more than just reality TV drama. They've given us a raw, unfiltered look at the human spirit and the incredible things it can achieve when it refuses to give up. From 6X to XL, from custody battles to new engagements, From tears of despair to tears of triumph, a story of Tammy and Amy Slaton is still being written, and we can't wait to see what happens next. And we can't wait